What's going on, YouTube? This is Jim Mafanis, aka Viper Magic, and today I want to talk to you guys about Splatoon. So I picked this game up the other day, and I gotta admit, it is really, really amazing. I first heard about it during one of the Nintendo Directs about a year and a half ago, and at the time it didn't look that exciting to me. But I'm really glad that I did get it and invested some time with it yesterday in between all the crazy amiibo hunting because it is really cool. For those not in the know, it is a 4 versus 4 online multiplayer game, which is surprising coming from Nintendo, but I'll get into that in a minute. Anyways, the objective is to cover more of the map in your color paint than the opposing team's paint. So each of the characters, you can select a weapon that shoots paint or rolls paint or something. And your objective is to go around and just coat the walls as fast as you can and the floors and everything. And each weapon has a secondary function to it, which can be used to cover paint quicker or to attack the other enemy. Now, one of the weird things about this game is that even though it is online multiplayer and you can't technically kill the other person by shooting them with enough paint or rolling over them if you have the big paint roller or whatever, that's not really the point of the game. I mean, it helps because when they're dead and they respawn, they can't be coating the map in paint. But that's not really the point. Kill to death ratio and all that kind of stuff means absolutely nothing. At the end of the game, it shows a big high level view of the map, and it shows a percentage of how much paint was covered by each team, and the team with the highest percentage wins, and that's all there is to it. So you could be a really good player and really good at shooting down paint quicker than the other team and covering up their paint with your own, and never get a kill or get killed 20 times and still win. It just doesn't matter. So that's a unique spin on the multiplayer aspect, and it's something that I really enjoy. There's tons and tons of weapons in the game that unlock as you work your way up the ranks. So you start with just this standard little machine gun, but you work your way up, and there's different factors to each weapon. There's like range and impact and how much paint can it shoot before you need to reload. My favorite's got to be the roller. It's just this giant, wide roller that you just push, you push around the map and it covers paint very quickly. Obviously, the drawback with that is it has zero range at all. So if someone's shooting at you from a distance, you're probably going to die. It's best, and you obviously can't use it on walls, so you just from like kind of straightaways, but it does cover up the map very quickly. Now, one of the cool elements about the game is that when everybody's like a squid person. So you're running around as a humanoid type, and then you could go into a squid mode. What squid mode will let you do is if you have part of the map covered in your paint, you can go through very rapidly, and you're basically stealthed as well. So, and that's actually how you reload as well. So it pays to have to kind of have an area to fall back on. So if you're advancing and an enemy is coming towards you and you don't have a way to kill him, you can go in squid mode and retreat and try to get another teammate to help you or go around another way. So it's important to have a good combination of rollers rolling to get like large areas along with like the sniper types to shoot like long ranges on the walls and everything so that you could ramp your squid up and get around into different areas. And it's as simple as that, but it's also as hard as that. There's a lot of meta that goes on in this game, which is surprising coming from a Nintendo game if you think about it. If you have a path into each team starts on the maps are symmetrical, so each team starts on their own little area. Obviously, you start covering up your area of the map before you advance. But if you get a push going and you can like sneak around and get on the back side of the enemy base or something. If you have one or two people going with you, it works out well. Now, you could just travel in squid mode to get to the map quickly. Or if you want to, on the map, you can touch on any person's location and you'll immediately teleport to them, which is really, really cool as well. I mean, not immediately. It takes like a second or two, but that's really good if you can get somebody who's way out in a place they shouldn't be to kind of help them push back. If you are walking across the enemy team's paint colors, you walk a lot slower, so you really have to carve your way in. So it's not like you could just sneak up and hide and then suddenly work your way out. You'll actually slowly start to take health damage if you're walking across enemy team's paint as well. So it's really, really a lot of fun. I can't say enough good things about the gameplay element of it. You have to use the gamepad, though. That's something I'm not a big fan of. So if you're like me and you have one of these bad boys, which you love, you're not going to be able to use it in you're not going to be able to use it in the multiplayer experience. Now, it will work in single player, surprisingly, but multiplayer, they really want you to have that map functionality kind of integrated into the experience. And the Wii U gamepad does work pretty well for this. However, it's nice to have that smaller controller, and if you're not a big fan of that, that's something you need to be aware of. By default, it's kind of weird. They actually make you aim with the gyroscope, so you're holding the gamepad aiming like this, and it's horrible. Luckily, you could change that right away, but that's the default setting. So when you're first playing through that starter zone and you're like me and you're like, oh, this isn't very good, don't worry, you can get rid of it. But unfortunately, no controller pad pro support or any other kind of like nunchucks or anything like that. I don't know why they can't allow that, because other than touching the actual gamepad to teleport to another player, having the map on the bottom corner is nice to have, but it's not really a requirement. You can just kind of figure it out by looking at the screen. You don't really need that second screen experience, and I'm hoping that's something maybe Nintendo will consider patching in the future. We'll see. Surprisingly, though, it didn't actually patch when it loaded. It was version 1.00, and it stayed version 1.00. I didn't have like a 2-hour Nintendo patch when it launched. A lot of people are thinking that voice chat would be part of this game, and it is not, unfortunately. So that online element is still broken. However, they have started to get a little bit better with it online, since a lot of it is online. The matchmaking service works pretty well. You just say, I want to play now, and it'll just pair you with other players. There doesn't seem to be any determination as a part of if you're going to play with people who are weaker or better. There's a couple times I went on a team and got trounced because I was like a level 1 guy fighting 3 or 4 level 8 or 9s, and then the vice versa. So there's really no true matchmaking in that element, and unfortunately that's where Nintendo's online kind of falls apart. There is a mode where you can play specifically with your friends and hunt out your friends that you already have online, which is really cool. You can do one-on-one with your friends if you want to, or one-on-one against strangers if that's your thing too. Just to kind of like a practice mode. They call it the Battle Dojo. So the online element it's getting better from Nintendo, but it's still not perfect. Unfortunately, when you're in the lobby waiting for the next game, you cannot make any changes to your tune. So you can't change out your gear or anything like that. And I'll talk about the gear in a second, but you're just basically locked in. If you want to make any changes, you have to back out, back to the main screen, and then work your way back into the online element. So that's not too great, but again, Nintendo is still kind of, I don't know, on the edges with the online stuff. The fact that it worked consistently for me for about 4 hours last night without any lag or any hiccups like I used to get in Smash all the time is amazing enough in of itself. So I guess I can't complain too much. So about that gear. So every time you win a match or lose a match, it doesn't matter, you get these points and you can go to different shops, and there's different shops have perks. You can put on different hats, you can put on different shoes, you can put on different shirts, and then obviously I mentioned the different types of weapons that you could buy. And you can really customize up your character. They have things like faster reload speed, faster running speed, take more damage, that sort of thing. So you can really customize your character in a way that you like. And obviously the clothes are so goofy, but that's just kind of the fun of the game. Right now I'm wearing an upside-down visor in the game, which gives me a little bit of speed bonus, actually, of all things. It's like, okay, that doesn't really make sense, but I like to play a lot with the roller, in case you couldn't have figured it out. So getting that extra speed and running just a little faster kind of gives me an advantage, I feel, and I think that's the way I like to play. But there are some people who like to snipe or do some other type of more player versus player elements, and there's definitely gear that's geared more towards them to use. There is a single player element that I have started playing around with, and it is a lot of fun. You basically have to go up against this evil octopus army. So it's all these little challenge maps that have some pretty neat little bonuses and perks to them. A lot of jumping and a lot more strategic jumping, aiming, and that kind of thing is required to beat these. And it's just fun. I mean, I wouldn't hang my hat on the single-player experience. From what I can tell and what I've done so far, it doesn't look like it's going to last too awfully long. This is really driven more to the multiplayer competitive aspect. But the fact that they have both and there's a story mode between, that is, I mean, it's a very loose story, but the fact that there is a story progressing through, that does make it pretty neat. The only complaints I have about the game, besides the online aspect of the some of the matchmaking system's a little weird and not being able to use the controller stick pro, is that right now there's only a handful of maps. Now, this game doesn't really need that many maps. I know that sounds kind of weird. The way the gameplay is, the way it goes down in the game, you really are fighting on your paint, fighting again. Wherever the paint borders are, wherever your borders are against them, that's really where the combat's happening. And it really doesn't matter too much the map layout. However, playing the same couple maps over and over again is pretty boring, and I don't know why Nintendo decided to only drop 5 at launch. I hope this isn't a case of some crazy DLC coming. I know that they've been experimenting with DLC on Smash, and I'm hoping that this isn't one of those cases, but there's still stuff that says coming soon. There's like a ranked battle mode that isn't really available right now, and there's a lot of stuff that you could tell. Like, I read a joke on Reddit that said something about, oh, Nintendo launched a game with missing features and broken. Welcome to the next generation. And I have to believe it right now. However, for what the game has and what it offers, if they never changed anything else and they had it as is, I still say it's a complete winner. It's a home run. And it's because it's a different system that, the fact that you have to fight in order to progress on the map, and then you own that part of the map, and just as quickly as you push with some paint and you try to retreat and somebody's already coming behind you, it really does change the dynamic of the game. And I can't say enough good things about it, obviously. So if you have a Wii U, I really recommend you check this one out. I'm having a ton of fun with it. I really wanted to show some gameplay on it, but I know Nintendo's being real weird about all that. And I did put my name in the hat for the Nintendo Partnership Program, and I never heard back. So if you want to see video, unfortunately, you're just going to see my balding head. You're not going to see any cool gameplay video, but I do have the box and the controller you could check out. So that's kind of cool. Ooh. Anyways, that's enough of me rambling. Just wanted to throw my 2 cents in about Splatoon. Can't say enough good things about it, and I'm glad that Nintendo is venturing out into more online competitive gameplay. I'm surprised this isn't at the Nintendo World Championships, because I think this would be a great game to highlight some of Nintendo's online capability. I think the map count is a little weak. I think the online matchmaking could be a little bit better, but I think the fun that this game offers trumps all of that. So if you got a Wii U, I recommend checking this one out. Thanks for watching. Comment, rate, subscribe. Let me know what you guys think about Splatoon. And until next time, I will see you guys on the other side.